Two questions, Coach. First, can you just comment on the difficulty that Bill Curry would have starting up a first-year program, and are there any outward signs of that in terms of substitution chaos or anything like that?
No, this team is very well coached, and you would not know. And they've won, 6 games. So, they don't look like they have any organizational issues. They're really well coached, and they do a lot of different things. They don't have a lot of penalties. They've been practicing for a long time. I think the issue is they haven't been able to do the full body of work and recruit, 4 or 5 recruiting classes to have, maybe the numbers of players of the depth. Although I have a lot of respect for the players that they have playing. They play hard, they execute well. They got some decent skill players on offense. They score 30 points a game versus who they play. So, they play quality football.
Secondly, I wanted to ask you about a couple of the redshirting freshman guys we really don't know much of anything about. Adrian Hubbard, DeAndre White. How are some of these guys progressing?
Well, they do a nice job, but I think they do a really good job every day. Their development comes in having to do, work against the defense. In DeAndre White's case, which he does a fantastic job. He's got great speed, good skill. He works hard every day and really provides us with a good look. And that's the one opportunity that we have when we do things against each other in practice, that those guys get a few reps and they get, they're there with the coaches a little bit more, and that's a chance for them to develop as well. But, some of those guys are going to be really good players, and in some cases, when you look back on it, you're not always right about, should we have played this guy, or could we have played him? How significant would his contribution have been? But we're pleased with their development, and we think they'll be very good contributors in the future.
C.J. Mosley was in on 12 tackles the other night. Can you talk about the progress that he's made this season?
Well, C.J. does a great job. He's very instinctive. He's very athletic, and he makes a lot of plays. I think since he's played, he's been a playmaker for us, whether it's tipping balls, batting balls, getting interceptions, making lots of tackles. It's very challenging, especially with all the multiples that we see. And it seems like it's getting worse every year in terms of what the offense presents to the defense in terms of different things and formations and adjustments. That it's very challenging to have a freshman who doesn't have a whole bunch of resource of information to go on to be in a position where he's having to make all these adaptations, and that's our challenge with CJ. And he's a very bright guy, and he's done a good job, and we just have to continue his development.
I was going to ask you about Coach Curry, Bill Curry, and just if you've had some past connections with him, or what your impressions are of him as a coach in person.
Well, I think Bill Curry's a fantastic person. He's always I think been a class guy in everything that I've ever had any dealings with him, and he's always been, very fair and honest with me. I've always had a tremendous amount of respect for him. When he was in broadcasting, I guess I got to visit with him on a few occasions, but I always felt like he did a great job when he was a coach. I always thought he was an outstanding, classy person with great character. And has done a good job in everything he's sort of tried to do, I think. So that's my impression of him.
Coach, can you comment on how Marcel Dareus has kind of developed into a fan favorite after his performance in the national championship, and also how he's become sort of a leader on the team this season?
Well, I don't know much about the fan favorite part of it. I'm a fan of all of our players, and Marcel has done an outstanding job for us. He really came into his own last year. He's a very talented guy with his size, strength, speed, and quickness, and has ability to pass rush as well as to play the point. And you know, I think this year, even though we started out with some trials and tribulations, he has really gained the respect of his teammates in terms of how he's gone about his work and what he's tried to do to affect other people with his positive energy and attitude, and the way he goes about doing what he does. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for him as a person and as a player, and he's done a really, really good job, I think, for our team for a lot of games now.
I just wanted to ask you about one of your seniors. I know you don't have a lot of them, but David Ross, the offensive lineman.
Right.
What does he do for you guys? You know, we may not see him in games a whole lot, but
You know, David Ross is probably the guy that plays the least and contributes the most, if that makes any sense. You know, he's really into what's going on. He's like having an extra coach in the offensive line. He's a very bright guy. He's got a lot of experience. He's a good player, and when he's had to play, you know, he's done an outstanding job for us. But he's so into what's going on, and he understands what the other team's doing and what we should be doing and what the line calls should be, and he's always right in the middle of it when we're making corrections on the sidelines. He's probably one of the most inspirational guys that we have on the team in terms, and I think it all comes from, you know, it means something to him. You know, our team is a priority for him. It's not just for him as a player, but how well we do. And you always give it your best, you know, when things are a priority for you. And I can't say enough good things about how he practices, the leadership he provides, the impact that he has on the development of the younger offensive linemen, because he's kind of the spearheads all the calls with when the second team goes in practice. So can't say enough about David Ross. He's a good one. All right, thank you.